I'm Carcina. Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Here we go. And what has become to me something rather, pitiful. Um, People are forced to deal with beefs and drama. And I've been around street beef, I've been around drama. That's why I know it isn't anything to glorify. And you have to think before you take someone's life. You have to think before you make accusations. You have to think about everything that's going to happen after the fact. And it's sad, extremely sad, that none of these people seem to have ever put any thought into any of this situation. You want to take the life of a young man who never took a life of your guys or your side at all. There was no hit put out on y'all. Nothing. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard of in my life because of ego getting bashed. Your ego couldn't take somebody else doing something and you crashing out based on drugs and everything else. So what have we learned here, people? We've learned here this is another case of people not doing something correctly because they don't know how to move. And people young, they basically lose young souls by having them all hopped up on drugs and getting them to do crazy things. Now, this trial has revealed a lot to us, a lot of stuff that we don't want to face, an ugly truth. Well, what he didn't expect is one of the shooters didn't expect another shooter to tell the whole story. Once that happened, everything just started to fall apart from there. Well, one of the guys said, my daughter just died. Well, his son's 9-year-old child died, and he was a janitor. He needed the money. None of that even mattered in the end. None of it mattered in the end. Was all this worth it? If you could not see this was going to be the results, you must have been living under a rock or whatever planet you come from. This was the only option, the only one that was there. This was only going to go one way. Now, when this first thing happened, people in Memphis was out there blaming the owners of the store, Makita's, saying the employee called them and told them to do this and that. They had all these people putting all these innocent people's lives in danger. All of those people could have got shot at that cookie spot. Now, they said the original hit was supposed to take place at the turkey drive. That's where they were supposed to do the hit. But they just saw him in there and he didn't stand a chance. Once he walked into the store, he was boxed in. Hit over 20 something times with like AR rounds. And for what? What did you think was going to happen when you did this to this man in Memphis? What did you think was going to happen? What do you think the fallout was going to be? Instantly, young black people were losing their lives behind this. And those who didn't lose it are going to jail for life. Meanwhile, who's smiling? Who got a smile on their face? This is how we lose. Learn from this. All of y'all young people that's watching this trial and watch out all this and how it's playing out, learn from this. This is what not to do. No, the white man's not. You don't want y'all making no money anyway. They smile. Now, can nobody on that record label make any money? That record label now is default. They might as well shut it down and those artists gonna get relocated somewhere else because there's gonna be a possible like investigation that goes all the way up to the top of the record where they can go after that. Now they got to try to make jokes along with, which end up costing him his life. And for what? The government don't care. They there to predict and give you life. Then it's on to the next. They don't care. They messing up my audio now. All right. How about it now? Is the audio doing better now? Mm-mm-mm. It's still bad. All right. Well, let me try something. Oh, it's good now? Okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was something crazy still going on. You just see the video with the industry publishing. No, I haven't. I don't even know who that is. I don't know what's going on, actually. Let me go ahead and do something because I think I know what they're doing. So let me go ahead and get this corrected and I'll bounce back. One sec. Just stay here. Don't go nowhere. Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Okay, we should be all right. Notice I said should be. Yeah. All right. Let's see what's up. Can you hear me still? All right. Now, American society always puts you in a box. So like when you get to these trial and simulation, every time you start to see pop up in a new situation or something that isn't normally presented to you the way they would want it to be presented, we end up with a case like this. It don't make any sense. You put a hit on this guy. Now, this guy is dead. Do you think that's the end of your problems? You think it's just is gonna die down? No, it's gonna lead to people getting murdered in the streets. Everybody's gonna be killing everybody. Then people going out for revenge. Then when you die, still don't stop. It's like the streets are gonna execute their own justice, and the police are there to pick up the pieces. And it don't have to be Young Dolph. It don't have to be a person of stature. This is what's happening in every city in America right now. The streets know what's going on. While everybody else seems to like have no understanding or recollection of everything that's popping, everyone here seem to know exactly what's going on. And you know what they ain't doing? Worrying one way or another how somebody feels about it. And this is the savagery that other people say about us. They waving their finger around talking about us. This is why. Yeah, all because your ego is hurt. Now your record label's gonna be gone. Dolph can't Dolph can't make any more records. So now what that means, right? His family and everybody over there, they're gonna suffer because they don't have a father around anymore, his kids. And Yo Gotti just gonna walk around, he can't come to Memphis at all. He might as well forget that. They're shooting up your mother's restaurant. It's like this is not getting better. The hurt and pain over there is going to always be in play because of the people involved.
You can tell how old a woman is by the size of the fonts on her phone.
Okay, that's cool. Now, words do hurt, but hurt and murder is two different things. Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti broke up already. Did they get back together or something? But if you joke, if Gotti's your brother, if anything happens to Dolph, who you think the suspect is? So if this gonna go back to your brother, this gonna come back to you. This gonna come back to your family. This gonna go back to anything. If anything happened to Dolph, it come back to him. Now, youngster, black youngster, and all the rest of them, they got to take the heat for all this. He didn't lost his brother. He didn't lost family members because of this thing. All of this is nonsense. And for what? For what? What are you going to get out of it? This is where it gets you. It gets you right there. Gotti ain't there with no high-powered lawyer for you. Nobody's there for you. And you just took this man's life and you said all you got was $800 out of it. Out of the promised money you were supposed to get, you've only received $800. Do you think the rest of the money's coming? Of course they did. Money don't last. It's always going to run out. So putting your worship into it is useless because it's going to be gone. Anybody who's ever took some money and flashed it, that money's gone. So at the end of the day, it don't mean anything. But when you're young, that's all you know. You see rappers putting money up to their head, like, look at my head, I got money. What's that gonna do? Like, what's it prove? Proves nothing. It's foolishness. And if we don't get through with this foolishness, this is where we're gonna be. This is where we're gonna be stuck. We're gonna remain stuck in this position forever. It's a lot of us. It's a lot of us out here who witnessed this go down in many neighborhoods. Just there wasn't no superstar rapper to come along and be responsible, for it going to the internet. This is happening in every neighborhood, everywhere. Stupidity. And when you hopped up on these drugs and pills, you can't think. It blocks your ability to think. And you just react and start doing stuff. And the consequences don't hit you until the times you're off the drugs. And they try to desensitize you to situations when they don't even make any sense. Well, if people would understand a few things about society, life, mm, mm, mm. I come from a very dangerous area in the United States of America, the city of Chicago, Illinois. And very fortunately for me, I didn't live in the areas that were heavy crime. It was crime, but it wasn't heavy like it is now. Now, the area where I live, I'm just mere blocks away from it being a war zone. Key words: war zone. Stores close down at 7 o'clock p.m. As soon as it starts to get dark, they close up early. All the stores are fenced in. It becomes a battlefield. Guys trying to get revenge. And revenge don't end, because as soon as you get your revenge, somebody want to get revenge on you for what you just did. You have to leave vengeance to the Lord. And now you have all these people who had nothing to do with it dying for a decision somebody made due to ego. The never ending cycle. This could easily become a term where they could file a RICO charge and go after the record label. The rabbit hole is still going and ongoing. And the more people start to talk, CMG is in big trouble. Oh, well, CMF. I keep thinking of CMG. Birmingham. All right, who would ever think Birmingham would be a place where brothers would be warring with brothers? We had to look out in Birmingham. They had to look out for people that wasn't looking like us. It was called Birmingham, Alabama. They were burning your houses and everything, and hangings. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And to have all this stuff, you know, coming out the way it is today, there's so many things that people just don't understand and know that they wish they did. So much going on.
Help and invest.
Jury's now entering into the courtroom.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope everybody had a good night. State, call your next witness.
Terrence Dabney.
Stand right here, sir. Face your honor, raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Can you speak, sir? Watch that.
All right, tell us your name first,
Terrence Dabney.
and spell your first and last name for the benefit of the court reporter.
First name Terrence, Terence. Last name Dabney, Dabney.
Looks like, or I know that you're doing good and bad at the same time. First, the bad, what happened with your arm?
Rotator cuff surgery.
Okay. So you probably are going to be up there for a little while, all right? Going to run through some of the various crime scenes with you, some of the various aspects of the investigation. So try to get as comfortable as you can, even with your arm. But I know you're doing good now too, because you're retired, is that right?
That is correct.
Retired from MPD?
That is correct.
How long were you with MPD?
26 years.
So 26 years, I say you earned it. In 2021, where were you assigned in PD?
I was assigned to the homicide.
All right, and what did you do in homicide back in 2021?
I was an investigator in the homicide.
In homicide here in Memphis, do you get a case and you're the only person that works on the case?
No.
Do y'all work in teams?
We work in teams.
And were you one of the case officers on this case?
I was.
Would you assign and delegate people to do various things in the investigation?
I do. Delegate people.
You're actually from Memphis, aren't you?
I am.
What neighborhoods did you grow up in?
I grew up in Claiborne Home, Castaic.
And Claver Homes is downtown Memphis,
Correct.
and in the Castelia neighborhood.
Yes.
And we've heard some testimony about the Castelia neighborhood.
Mhm.
Did you know Dolph at all?
No.
Older, is that right?
Older, much older.
All right. November the 17th of 2021, did you have occasion to be brought in with regard to a homicide call?
I was.
Specifically to an address on Airways, Makita's Cookies.
Correct.
Did you know where that was?
Yes.
What area of town is that?
It's in the southeast part of town, Airways and Ketchum area.
If I tell you that the call went out at 12:24 p.m. in the afternoon, about what time would you have arrived at the scene?
Possibly around 1 by the time you get the call and travel to the scene.
By the time you get to the scene, are there uniform patrol that's already there?
It is.
Are there medical personnel, things like that already there? When you get there, what are your duties?
My duty is to gather fact information from the reporting officers, delegate other investigators to do, canvass the area for video, and just handle process the scene.
When you arrived on the scene, were there people around in the street and everything?
Yes, there were people
Everywhere?
around.
Were there officers